I know nothing about Warhammer. I just know that it's a great looking action figure. And thanks to McFarlane, we have an unpainted version. How cool is that? I wish other companies would provide us an unpainted version of their properties to be able to customize that much easier instead of having to layer repaints upon repaints. Well, the nice thing about this is that it offers you just that, the ability to paint it however you like to do. And because it's gray, you really don't need to add primer unless you want to have the paint adhere to it depending on the paint you're using. Now, this figure has an incredible amount of detail. Even the accessories that come with it, which are detachable, have their own detail. Now, the minute I saw this figure, I knew that the potential for this was just over the top. There's so many variants that could be achieved on a figure that is in blank like this. After picking up the figure, I took a closer look at those details and the possibility of utilizing it to what I need or want to see. And already, right off the bat, I can tell you that backpack needs a lot of work because that backpack is just not doing much there. It's just sitting there. And it has a lot of potential. I mean, even the chest plate, look at that. It's just the detail is incredible. But guess what? That chest plate comes off. Yeah, and you Warhammer crazies are gonna hate me for it, but it's coming off because we're gonna do something else with it. Look at the face on the helmet. Great detail. It's just really, really well done. I'm glad that he included a removable helmet because now you can swap in an actual expression portrait. And you can use any that is a Mezco size blank portrait, paint it yourself and slap it on there, and you've got yourself now a soldier with this Warhammer. Look at that profile. That is so cool. However, anything that you want to customize has to come apart to get to all those tight joints. And if you want to heat it up with a hairdryer or you want to bathe it in hot water, that's all up to you. Now, I have already done that ahead of time to produce this video, so I'm not going to bore you with it. But here's the controversial removal of the Águila, the skull with the wings. It is glued down. It's glued in the four corners retrospectively. Mine had very little glue. It only took me roughly maybe 3 minutes to pry it apart after heating it up. So you take a flathead screwdriver. I've already done this ahead of time for video purposes. You go underneath the little gap that's in the wings, between the body and the wings on both sides, and slide the screwdriver underneath, tap it in there and wedge it, and poof, there it is. It's still reusable, so you just got to clean up those glue spots and reuse it wherever you need to. I don't need it. It's going to stay in the junk pile. Next thing on the list to remove is going to be the helmet. That's probably the easiest piece to remove. It's just on a peg. I'm going to keep that peg for the portrait I want to put on there. And then these gigantic pauldrons. Who needs pauldrons? They're just overly done. If you're a Warhammer guy, you'll probably use them. Me, I'm not. I just bought it to customize. But it's a cool looking figure. So, in any case, let's take apart another piece off this piece. Oh, I'm sorry, off this figure. What's next? Well, let's remove the pin first. We don't want to lose that pin. I want to use it on another figure for applying or attaching a portrait of another character. I'll just pin it back into the pauldron to not lose it. And I'll remove the peg out of the helmet to put it on the body so that I know where it is. Next piece to remove is gonna be, oh, look at this. This is the portrait I wanted to show you. This is a Punisher head, a Mezco size head, and I went ahead and sanded off the hair to make him bald, because all bald guys look alike. Very easily, this could be a Lex Luthor. In any case, the next piece to pull off are the arms. They're very simple. So by breaking it apart like this, you can get into those areas that are just too tight to paint either by airbrush or with a hand brush. However, do not paint the joints that connect each other, because you'll have trouble manipulating the figure later. Now, the waist here, where the armor is around the waist and the belt, is glued down pretty well. We'll get to that in a moment. But as you can see, the legs are clipped on with the same mechanism uses for the rest of the other McFarlane bodies. So definitely heat it up, either in hot water or with a hairdryer, and very carefully pry open that clamp or that joint. It's kind of like breaking open a lobster here. So if it doesn't work from the top, go from the bottom. Very carefully wedge that flat head screwdriver on both ends, and then just tug and twist carefully. It is a soft plastic, but you can still break it. And if this plastic breaks, you're just going to have to replace that whole joint. And that's not going to be fun. Well, there's one piece there. So on to the next one. And it's the same thing, just repeat the same process. And once you have that off, you're set and ready to go. Now we can concentrate on removing the belt. That took me a lot longer because that was on really well. So that took me about 30 minutes or so to unglue it. Definitely a lot of repeat heating in hot water. However, once it's done, then you can work on it to put it back together by cleaning up all those blue spots. But now the torso, same process. Heat it up in some hot water and pull it apart. And then you can pull out that peg that's in the center. For now, it'll stay as is. We're not working on it yet. Now, the hands at this point can come off. Very simple. Just be very careful when you use your pliers, because you can mar the surface. Remember, it is a soft plastic, so it will scratch easy. Here we go. The backpack. Why the backpack? Because it's empty. There's nothing in here. And to me, something that's empty needs something in it. It needs some lighting. So let me show you. I've already done this for the video, but it's got glue right here at the top. It came apart very simple on this, very easy. There's only a few glue spots, take me maybe 10 minutes to take it apart. Now, once you unglue this, then you have access to the bottom part of the backpack. But take a look at this here before we get there. This plug, which is glued all the way around, heat it up and just pull it back off. And you've got an empty cavity there that can house a light on each side. And I'll show you how that looks in the process. In the meantime, now we have access to the bottom of the backpack. Pry it open with that flathead screwdriver. I've already done this ahead of time for video. And once you get around the glued edges on both sides, and be very careful because mine was glued on pretty well. This took me roughly another 20 minutes because it was well glued. And just be very careful because it is a soft plastic and you can tear it. But once you pry it open, take a look at this. A giant empty clamp. All we got to do is remove that support that's in the center to accommodate some wiring boards. So, there it is. What do you think? Not bad, huh? But if you're thinking this is a Warhammer repaint, you're wrong. We're going for Mr. Freeze. So I'm going to leave you with a little clip of a teaser. It's already in progress. I'm almost done. The next video will show you how to get to this. It's an extremely long video, that's why I had to break it up into 2 pieces. So if you like the video, comment, like, subscribe. Above all, don't forget to keep customizing.